Okay, welcome everybody to our Healthy Together community time. My name is Kristen Bristol. I'm a certified Optavia coach, and I will be co-hosting this call tonight with my sister Andrea. We're both very excited to share some great mindset skills with you all tonight that will not only benefit you in your physical health journey, but can also be applied to your relationships and just so many other areas of your life. Honestly, so much of what makes the Optavia program so successful is that it isn't a diet. And if you have been a part of Optavia for any time, you learn that pretty early on. In fact, so much of it's so much more than what you eat. Honestly, it's much more about what and how you think. So it's based off of developing small habits that you can do every single day as you change your mindset towards a healthier life. And a big part of developing those habits is utilizing all four components of the program. So in case you don't know what the four components of our program are, I'm going to just give a brief little quick overview. And if you are familiar with these four components already, I'd like to challenge you to think about which component is currently lacking your attention that you could benefit from utilizing more fully. Because in the 5 years that I have been a coach, I've noticed a significant difference in the clients that really plug into all four components and their long-term success. So the first component is the health coach. Everyone in Optavia gets a health coach who is there to be a guide along your health journey. And coaches are here to cheer you on, provide encouragement, and help plug you into the amazing resources that this program has to offer. In fact, our studies show that those who connect with their coach on a regular basis lose twice as much weight than those who don't. And just remember, the phone goes both ways. So don't hesitate to check in with your coach and reach out if you need extra support or encouragement. Second is our Habits of Health transformational system. So this is where you will experience those significant mindset changes that will impact your health long-term, because your body will always match up to where your mind is. This educational component is crucial for your long-term success. And then third is our community. And part of connecting with our amazing and supportive community is being here on this call tonight, right now. So congratulations. You will experience so much extra motivation and encouragement anytime you are surrounded by this amazing community. And then last but not least is our scientifically designed fuelings. So these are designed to make nutrition so simple and extremely convenient. So during the weight loss phase, it's basically goof proof that even the busiest of people can see results with such minimal meal prep and planning on their end. So like I said earlier, I'm very excited about the content that we have prepared tonight. I'm going to turn it over to my sister Andrea to introduce what it is that we will be discussing.
All right, thanks, Kristen. Like she said, my name is Andrea Fitzgerald, and I've been a certified Optavia coach for 6 years now, and I absolutely love it. And I'm really excited to share some tools with you guys tonight that will help you to really create what you want in your life. And this is one of my favorite topics because I would say it's the thing that has made the single biggest difference, not just in my physical health, but also my mental health, my relationships, and really every area of my life. So our topic tonight is going to be on the mindset behind choices versus cheating and ditching the diet mentality. So we all know that the holidays are coming up, and with that, we're going to be faced with lots of food choices. So we want to give you guys some tools that you can use. And the first thing I wanted to talk about is a little something called the drama triangle. Have you guys ever found yourself thinking something along the lines of, why is it so much harder for me to maintain a healthy weight than all of my friends? Or why do they get to eat like that and still be skinny? It's not fair. If I even look at that brownie, I gain 10 pounds. Things like that. And it's not bad if we've had thoughts along these lines. We all have these thoughts at some point or another, but it's just really good to be aware of when our mindset is shifting into one of these positions on the drama triangle. And the one that I just described is called the victim mentality. It's at the top of the drama triangle. And that's where we're thinking things like, why is this happening to me? And it's not fair. And then in the bottom left, have you guys ever found yourself thinking things like, man, it's so hard for me to be healthy because if I try to make healthy dinners, my family won't like them, and I don't want to have to make two dinners, so I can't be healthy. Or every time I fall off plan, it's my husband's fault because he's always buying my favorite treats and bringing them home. Um, this is the villain mentality, and that's when we're always looking for someone or something to blame. And then there's the hero mentality in the bottom right corner. And that's where heroes, they really want to avoid conflict, save the day, and they tend to enable people. So when we place the blame on others, we give away our power and we surrender our control, and we place the cause and reason outside of ourselves. But the number one thing I want you guys to realize, and that's the mentality that I mentioned in the beginning, that has made the single biggest difference in my physical and mental health, is that we can decide that we're going to be the dominant force in our lives. And when we decide that, then we take back our power and responsibility. And that's a super cool and empowering feeling. And then the cause now lies inside of ourselves. So I wanted you guys to understand the different mentalities in the drama triangle so that later we can learn more about how to shift from the drama triangle, where we're giving away our power, to and move to the empowerment triangle, where we get to be in control and create what we want in our lives. So the way that we think and talk to ourselves makes a huge difference. And if we start to think things like, oh, I had a cheat meal, or I'm going to have a cheat meal this weekend, or a cheat day, or I'll get back on track after the holidays are over because it's just too hard to be healthy during the holidays. That becomes all or nothing thinking, or the diet mentality, and diets don't work. So one of the keys to being healthy is getting rid of that all or nothing mentality. And we tend to think that our health journeys are going to be linear and just look like a perfect straight line from here's where we are now and here's where we want to be. But in reality, there's going to be lots of ups and downs, just like this image here. It's a big squiggly line from here to success. But the important thing is just getting rid of that all or nothing thinking, especially with the holidays coming up. So did you guys know that the average American gains 7 to 9 pounds during the holidays? And I would bet that that stems from this all or nothing thinking of I'll just get back on track once the holidays are over, and then I'll really hit it hard with my health goals. But let's be honest, there's always going to be something. So we can't blame the holidays. That would be the villain mentality. So we actually have 72 days left from now until New Year's Day. And let's say you're following the healthy habit recommendation that we teach to eat 6 small meals a day. That is 432 choices that you get to make a healthy choice. And the holidays are 5 days between now and New Year's, if you count Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas, and New Year's Eve. So even if you decided you made a choice, you just can't live without your grandma's famous pie on Thanksgiving Day, or you have this special food that you really have to have on Christmas Day. Let's say you made 5 choices for those 5 holidays that didn't quite align with your health goals. You still have 427 good choices that you can make that will get you that much closer to your goal. So instead of this all or nothing mentality, we want you to encourage you guys to realize that you have choices and you can actually have what you want in life and be in charge of creating that. So I want you guys to get really good at asking yourselves 2 questions. One is, what do I want? And then follow that up with, what do I really want? And I wanted to share this next chart with you guys because this has also been so helpful for me as I've started on this health journey. And these are some other questions that you can go through when you have a food choice. I love these food fallacies too, because I used to be the queen of falling for all of these food fallacies. So those are things like, it's free, it's a rare opportunity, I shouldn't waste food. I paid good money for it. I'll be missing out on the fun, and I love food too much. Um, so I actually had an experience just this last week. We were at Disneyland and we went to a Disney character breakfast buffet. And after we had the food, our meal, some of my kids were starting to go see all the desserts that they had over there. And my body was telling me I did not want any of that. I was totally fine. But my mind started going to these food fallacies of it's a rare opportunity. I'll miss out on the fun and I paid good money for it. So I found myself feeling torn like, well, I mean, it's free. It's all over there. It's like my favorite ice cream over there. I've got to have some. But I was able to realize like the reasons why I wanted it were all because of these food fallacies going through my head. And I knew if I had some, I would feel sick, I would be too full, and I would feel worse. And so to think in the past, I probably would have fallen for the food fallacies and walked away being overly full and sick and kind of ruining that fun experience. And so just being aware of those has made a huge difference for me. And I'm able to take a moment to pause and think about what is it that I really want. I want to feel good, and then make the decision that supports that goal. So I hope that these questions can help you guys as well. Feel free to screenshot it or reach out to the person that invited you and ask them to send you a copy and hang it on your fridge or make a magnet out of it. And you'll be surprised at how much just being aware of these things can help you. So I wanted to throw it back over to Kristen so that she can go over and talk a little bit more about the action step that we want you guys to take away, which is stop, challenge, choose, and also the empowerment triangle.
Okay, thanks, Andrea. So when she was telling her story about the Disney buffet, I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, I have been there so many times, and I'm thinking, I bet everybody on this call knows what that feels like. And then Amber put in the chat thread, I can't even imagine eating breakfast or sugar for breakfast. That sounds so gross. So I had to laugh at that. So maybe not all of you can relate to it, but I certainly can. I've been in that place where your mind is just not matching up to what your body wants. So yeah, like Andrea said, I'm going to go over the tool that we want you to take away. It's called Stop, Challenge, Choose. And it really is a tool that can be applied to your health, but also your relationships, like honestly, every aspect of your life. When you parent with your spouse, whatever the situation can be, it's such a simple tool, but very powerful. So the first part is stop. So I'm going to give you an example, a scenario that has happened to me before, and maybe some of you can relate. So just imagine you're driving home after a really stressful day at work, and you see a Chick-fil-A, and this thought comes into your mind. Oh, I had a really stressful day. I should stop and get a cookie. In fact, I totally deserve a cookie. So just so you know, you're not obligated to obey that thought. So before automatically turning into the Chick-fil-A drive-thru just because that thought entered your mind, stop and take a deep breath, assess the situation, and then move on to step number 2, which is challenge. So challenge that thought that entered your mind. And like I mentioned earlier, you're not obligated to obey every thought that enters your mind. So ask yourself some questions such as, will eating a cookie even make my stressful day less stressful? Is it some magical cookie that erases the stressful day that I had? Will I feel better, worse, or am I going to feel the exact same after eating it? Does stopping for a cookie support my long-term goals of what I really want and not just what I want in that moment? And then once you've challenged that thought, move on to the third step, which is choose. So make your decision, and remember, whatever you decide was a deliberate choice. It's not a cheat. So that's what the topic is that we're focusing on, is that mindset behind it was a cheat meal. It was a cheat day, that you are deliberately making a choice. So like I said, it's important to remember that you are not cheating if you are deliberately choosing that. So once you've acted on that choice, no matter what the choice was, it's important to remember the language we use with ourselves, how important that is. The way we talk to ourselves is so important. So remember, food does not make us bad, although it can make us feel bad. So maybe you did choose to stop and get the cookie. And then you also end up with some fries and an ice cream cone. And then you end up with a stomach ache later that night. Or maybe physically you feel fine after you eat the cookie and the fries and the ice cream, but now you're feeling kind of discouraged because you got off track with your eating plan and you had set a goal for yourself. And now you feel like you totally threw it out the window. It is never helpful to talk down to yourself. If the decision you made was not in line with your health goals, it does not mean that you can start talking down to yourself, shaming yourself, beating yourself up. It's not going to help. But what you can do is ask yourself what you could have done differently, not necessarily what you should have done, but what you could have done differently. And then do that next time. Like Andrea mentioned, we teach our clients to eat every 2 to 3 hours. So in 2 hours, you have an opportunity to make a choice that aligns with your health goals, if that's what you want. So just get right back on track. Honestly, the worst thing that you can do is adopt that all or nothing mentality and say, well, I guess I already messed up, so I might as well eat a burger for dinner tonight too, and might as well go the whole weekend and start back again Monday. So the sooner you can make the decision that you're not on a diet, you can start telling yourself that you are on a health journey to become the healthiest you can be, then your thoughts and actions will follow. And then you don't have to beat yourself up over a cheat meal or give yourself permission to have a cheat meal. It doesn't mean that you're only ever going to eat healthy foods ever again. It just means that you are going to be very intentional with those decisions. So I want to share this. The number one gift that this program has given me is empowerment. Knowing that I am actually in control is such an incredible feeling. So like I said earlier, those who are involved with Optavia learned very early on that this is not a diet, that it's so much more than what you eat. It's honestly much more about how you think. So on the count of 3, I want everybody to close their eyes and say to yourself, either out loud or just in your head, I am actually in control. Okay, everybody close your eyes. 1, 2, 3. I am actually in control. And I want to share a quick little story about that. So I had a situation earlier this year that had to do with my kids, and a lot of parents were facing similar situations, and we were talking about it totally in the drama triangle, where we're complaining about the situation, totally being the victims of where we were, the situation that we didn't like with our kids. And in the past, I would have just continued to play the victim card and complain about it, and then move on with the situation, knowing that I didn't like it. But based on this stop, challenge, choose that I have learned through this program, I was able to move from the drama triangle into the empowerment triangle and challenge those thoughts and realize that there wasn't just one option for me. And there was actually there was several other options if I was willing to take control of it. Like we just repeated, I am actually in control. I didn't just have to let this pass by and go a direction that I didn't agree with, that I could take control. And that feeling of empowerment is what this program has given me. And I will say it comes full circle as a health coach when you get to then empower somebody else to do the same thing, who then can empower others to do the same thing. That's where it comes for full circle, that you can then teach somebody else to do what you have learned. So each one of us gets to be the creator of our life story. So just remember to challenge the thoughts that come to your mind, whether they're dealing with food or, like I said, relationships. I use it a lot with my children, and I also teach my children to use it. I don't know how many of you have seen your kids just out of a reaction misbehave in some way where there wasn't a thought behind it. It was just a natural reaction. And it's a skill that you can teach them as well, that they can stop, take a deep breath, and challenge that thought. So remember that those thoughts do not have to be obeyed. We're actually really good at it depending on the thought. If you had the thought to, I don't know, go punch somebody that was making you mad, some stranger in line somewhere, most likely you're going to challenge that thought and choose a different course of action. So we can do the same when it's not serving us and our health goals. So move from the drama triangle of blaming the reason why you aren't healthy on your coworkers. Maybe your coworkers are bringing in donuts every day, or your spouse makes your favorite dessert each week. Maybe those situations are actually opportunities to help you get better and stronger. So we can take ownership of our choices. Because if you're waiting for your coworkers to stop bringing in donuts, or for your spouse to stop making your favorite dessert each week before you get healthy, or maybe you're waiting for the holidays to be over, whatever the case may be, you're going to be waiting for a very, very, very long time, because those things will not ever go away. So it's up to you. If you want to see a change, it's up to you to handle those situations differently. So stop, challenge, choose. That's the skill that we can practice every day until it becomes a habit in every area of our life, not just when it comes to food, but in every area of our life, applying that skill until it becomes automatic. So now I'm very excited to turn the time over to Becky. She is going to share her inspiring story about how she's successfully utilized these tools in her own life.
Thank you so much, Kristen. I appreciate it. I'm just going to go and start with kind of how it started. This time last year, actually, the same month, I was overweight. I was gaining pounds every month, literally every month. And I was so tired, physically, emotionally, and mentally. I was in a big fog, and I didn't know how to stop it. It was just, I was stuck in this running vehicle that wouldn't stop, and I couldn't fix it. And I didn't know how to reverse it. So I was talking to a friend of mine, Joy Wheeler, who also happened to be a coach, and she introduced Optavia to me then. And now it's a year later, and I lost 40 pounds, and all those issues that were plaguing me before, they resolved, which honestly, it was what I had expected to happen when you lose a substantial amount of weight. That's what I had expected to happen. But what I didn't expect was the shift in my mindset. So due to the things that I had been learning in Dr. A's Habits of Health and the Life book, I started to notice that the way that I looked at food started to change. And it still continues to help me today. And I learned that knowledge and the implementation of that knowledge is actually truly power. And so I'm going to give you an example. So about a little while ago, my husband and I were at our house, and our house is being built right now, and we were having some reoccurring issues with our contractors. And we went back that day, and the same issues had popped up again. And I was talking with him in the house, and I could just feel this frustration starting to well up inside of me. And Dr. A teaches about being aware of where your emotions are sitting in your body and what it's doing. And I could feel that my chest was getting tight, and I could tell that frustration was building. So I said to my husband, you know what, this is probably not a great place for me to be sitting right now. I'm just going to go sit in the car. So I went and I sat in the car, and it was crazy. I sat down, and in the very instant that I sat down, there was this thought process that went right from my head down my arm to my hands. It was this thought to action. And it was, I'm so frustrated. I need something sweet. Reach. That's how fast it happened, just like that. And all I wanted was something sweet. And so I reached down to the area where I had some food inside my car. Okay, granted, it was a fueling, but it wasn't time to eat it. I wasn't even hungry. So I had this little thought that came to my head. I almost had this internal dialogue. It's like, Becky, what are you doing? And I said, I just need something sweet right now. No, you don't. You're not hungry. And this thought was, you're frustrated. And I said, oh, yeah, I'm right. I'm frustrated. And so I just took a moment. I stopped. I thought about it, and I sat back. Dr. A talks about taking breaths and letting that emotion just kind of work through you. And so I sat there, and I took a few deep breaths for a couple of minutes, and I just felt that emotion of frustration just went here, and it just worked itself right out of me. And I felt so good. And I thought, wait, I won the moment. I did it. I won the moment. I beat it. And And I felt so great about it. And I sat there and I thought, you know what? I wish that I had this program 25 years ago. This would have been a game changer for me. Had somebody just been able to walk into my path 25 years ago and offer this to me, I just think so much about my life would have been so different. And so I decided to start to coach. And it has been an amazing experience. And I have loved connecting with so many wonderful people who have been very inspiring in my life. And so one of the things I love about the coaching is that you have these weekly calls, and we all know we have weekly calls, and you go in and you call and you talk to them, and they are so excited because they are accomplishing things they never thought they could do. They thought it was completely impossible, and they're actually accomplishing it. And to see the light go on when their mindset starts to shift and their view of food and how it really works in their life stops. I mean, it just changes. And that's been a very great blessing for me and inspiring. And the whole program and coaching has been a blessing for my family as well. So thank you so much for letting me share.
Thank you so much for your story, Becky. I love that. I know everyone else was loving it too. So some of you guys came to this call to learn a little bit more about coaching. So we are going to end the call with some basics of what it could look like to pay it forward. So stick around if you're curious about any of these topics. The secret of how to be 500% more likely to reach and maintain your healthy weight, how much money coaches make, or other information on what it might look like for you to pay it forward and help others. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining the Healthy Together time tonight, and we'll see you guys next week.